The impact is evident by the type of sales that we've been able to generate, and by the fact that we've had 4 back-to-back #1 debuts in a row, and that we have continued to grow with each respective record. Our draw continues to grow. This particular cycle, we were at the peak of our popularity. We're headlining festivals in our own right all over the world, and so to go away now, people are questioning. What's wrong with you? You're more successful than you've ever been. Why would you go now? See, but that's exactly the time to step away. Not when you're weak, when you're strong. And I want it to be felt that we are leaving from a position of strength and not from weakness. It's really just a tremendous strengthening relationship that we have with our fan base. Disturbed has always been a soundtrack for releasing negativity, for dealing with difficult experiences in life, for facing the challenges and problems of the world. And I think that it's been a medicine, a therapy, and a catharsis for the fans. Only sense I've ever felt is it's not happening fast enough. It's never been too fast.
It's very interesting that.
We're never satisfied, ever, with anything.
Maybe that's the key of the success.
It's a part of it. We've always continued to stay hungry.
Yes.
And that's never dissipated. Still, at this point, I feel we have so much more to achieve. I mean, for God's sake, it's our first time down here. So there's a lot more of the world to cover, and there's a lot more people to try and inspire and set. There really is no preconceived plan prior to writing a record. All I ever ask is that the guys give me material to write to that kind of fits the mood I'm in at the time. And at the time that we were writing Asylum, I was in a very, very dark place. So we went there. And as far as style is concerned, I think that the record differs. As far as its lyrical delivery, it's much more open and kind of hard on your sleeve type of delivery, much more of a storytelling type of lyrical delivery, as opposed to the other records, which were much more cryptic and open to self-interpretation. Musically, this is by far our most complex record musically. It pushes our levels of musicianship at every stage of the game. It incorporates instrumental moments such as Remnants going into Asylum, the opening track. Danny has become, more and more virulent and more expert at his soloing and has really stepped up his game. Mike's polyrhythmic sensibilities have increased tenfold over the course of the past 5 records. And John, since we've gotten him on 10,000 Fists, has continued to up the ante as well. So I think that Asylum is just a very clear example of our heightened abilities and our chronic achievement, in our opinion. At the time I was suffering from nightmares. As you see in the video, what you see in the video isn't exactly what happened. My teenage girlfriend, my ex-girlfriend, killed herself. She didn't hang herself. She committed suicide from overdosing, heroin overdose. But for the reasons of the video, it was more graphic and better illustrated to have her hang herself. You know, it's something that I've had to deal with most of my life. It led me to addiction. You know, I had a bout with heroin addiction as a young kid, you know, in my late teens, and it was resulting from that relationship and from the depression and the disparity that it kind of put me into this downward spiral of, you know, self-destruction, as Trent Reznor loves to talk
And
about.
because of that age, you are more sensitive.
Very
to
vulnerable.
love.
Yes, yes. So I understand the pain that people go through and the loss that they feel, and you know, the song is about just an image that I had in my head, and people will go through all kinds of conjecture. They think that, oh, we're satanic because I'm talking about the devil in the song, and say it's such a bunch of bullshit. I think that Satan is a fairy tale told by adults to children to scare them. I don't even believe in the existence of such an entity. And then, you know, the good Catholics and Christians will tell me, well, he believes in you if you don't believe in him. You know, but it's all right. The idea that I had in my head from my delusions at the time and the nightmares I used to have was that I would see myself standing over her casket because I went to her funeral. And I remember dreaming, you know, hallucinating that Satan was standing over my shoulder, whispering into my ear, telling me to take my own life as well, so that I could still be with her in the afterlife. So that's the spoken word of the song. It's Satan speaking over my shoulder. It's that picture, that image. But it's done the same way that Maiden talks about the number of the beast. It's not about a satanic ritual. It's about somebody walking over the top of the hill and they see this thing happening. It's telling a story.
It's more spiritual.
Well, not spiritual per se. It's in fact because it's demented. It's a delusional. It's just an imaginary thing. But when you are so deeply depressed, different sorts of imagery pop into your head. That was one of the things it did. They're very bittersweet, mixed feelings. I'm happy to have accomplished as much as we've accomplished. I'm happy to have a final show where we can now have the opportunity to do other things, but I am going to miss it. I think we all are. We're all freaking out a little bit. You know, we know we've made this decision, and we're going to stick to it because it's the right thing to do for all of us. But I would be lying if I said that there isn't a bit of remorse and a little bit of sadness there. And that's part of the reason why tonight, Chile is going to get the longest Disturbed show that has ever been played. And we're going to play for 2 hours tonight.
Are you breathing?